For our final project, we chose the topic of women in combat roles because of the recent inclusion of women into U.S. military combat jobs. Our objectives were to engage the community in a survey about the topic and hopefully share ideas and research that we have learned so far in the course. Our project was to raise awareness about the fact that women are as capable as serving in combat as men, unlike what stereotyping dictates. We used the tools learned from the class about activism and social justice to try to impact our community at NC State. First, let's take a look at a little bit of history pertaining to military policies regarding combat service of women. In 1942, the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps gives women military status and benefits, but still excludes women from activities that involve weapons. In 1988, the Department of Defense's risk rule policy states that women would not be assigned to positions with direct combat, hostile fire, or capture. In 1992, the policy for the assignment of female soldiers states that females in the military may serve in any position except for those assigned to direct combat. Then, on January 24, 2013, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta withdrew the restriction of women from serving in combat units.
The Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and I believe that we must open up service opportunities for women as fully as possible. And therefore today, General Dempsey and I are pleased to announce that we are eliminating the direct ground combat exclusion rule for women. And we are moving forward with a plan to eliminate all unnecessary gender-based barriers to service.
Next, let's talk about our survey. We set up a table in the brickyard for a few hours in order to conduct a survey of 11 questions. The table had pictures of female service members, mostly in combat situations, on display. We approached passers-by and asked them for a moment of their time to take our survey. We asked each question out loud and engaged in conversation with those who seemed very interested in the topic. Others were in a hurry and answered quickly. Each survey taker got the Women and the Military educational brochure afterwards to give them some parting information. Online survey takers were automatically redirected to a shared Google Doc version of the brochure for their viewing pleasure. Now let's take a look at our results. We had 62 completed surveys with 47 in-person responders and 15 online survey takers. There were 31 males and 31 females. Ages ranged from 19 to 70, with 29 being the average. The first question was, do you agree or disagree with allowing women to serve in combat? 84% said yes, they did agree. Female and male survey takers were in agreement on that question at 84 and 83%. The next question was, since the ban on women in combat has been lifted and all citizens must be treated equal, does that mean women should be required to register in case a military draft is needed in a future crisis? For those that don't know, it is federal law that all males between the ages of 18 and 25 must register for selective service. 69% of responders said that women should have to register in case of a draft. Males and females were in agreement on that. Third question. Do you think men are more likely to put themselves in harm's way to save a female rather than another male? 55% thought that was the case. Interestingly, 63% of females thought that would happen, while only 47% of males said that they would. The fourth question was, will having females in combat units lead to increases in sexual harassment? 62% said yes it would, many making comments about the recent news on numerous sexual assaults in the military. The fifth question was, do you think enemies targeting women as prisoners of war would increase? 71% said yes, women soldiers would be targeted. Female responders believed it more strongly than their male counterparts, with a 16% difference between them. The sixth question was, with women in combat units, will limited duties due to pregnancy or personal issues hurt the military's ability to be mission capable? More than half said no, that would not be an issue, with males and females in equal agreement. The seventh question was, do you think women will feel pressured to suppress their femininity? A little more than half said no, female soldiers wouldn't feel pressure. Females and males also agreed equally on that. The eighth question was, will women struggle fitting in with their units? About half the responders said yes, they would struggle. If they answered yes, we asked, how should the military overcome this? Answers ranged from creating legislation and policy to protecting the women to providing more education to soldiers. The two most popular answers, though, were to create segregated units and to wait it out over time and it will get easier. The next question was, do you think personal privacy for women in the combat field is obtainable? 70% of people had faith that women in combat would get the necessary privacy they needed. The 10th question was, can women meet the physical demands of being in a combat billet? An overwhelming 85% said yes, women could physically handle the rigors of combat. Lastly, we asked an open-ended question to promote discussion. Here are some responses.
I definitely feel like diversity classes are needed. More legislation about sexual assault. I mean, we're aware of it because some people are brave enough to come forward, but there's so many people who have not come forward that have been sexually assaulted, and even if they do, they definitely face retaliation and just a lot of hatred. It's just a lot, I think, in our system, like on every level, like state, federal, what's the other one? And like local, like we really need to do a lot with policy making. There's just a lot of loopholes. But it's definitely like just exposure and definitely like classes and training. You know, that focuses on, you know, similarities versus differences.
I don't think at this point there's, in a combat situation, I think they're beyond the integration part, so I don't see much of a problem, or I don't see that many obstacles as far as combat. It seems like they're already at that point.
Okay.
In Iraq and Afghanistan, it seems like they're in those types of roles now, so if anything, that probably smooth the transition where they're at now.
Privacy?
Yeah, with, I mean, I think there's certain things that women need. I mean, there's certain privacy that women
Personal
need.
issues, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Women need some privacy in certain things that men don't need. That women
Just
do.
our society and the embedded values we have that men and women are not equal, and the stereotypes we have about women, they're defenseless, they're weak. And those are really detrimental when it comes to the military, because I feel that women and men are just as equal. They deserve just the same pay. Doesn't matter what the nature of the work, they deserve to be paid the same. Because if we say we're all equal and we all have equal rights, that should be a priority for society, is to make people equal and to be on common ground. So definitely the biggest obstacles are the messages we send out about women, and just all, I don't know, just the negative stereotypes and the assumptions we make about women. That definitely needs to be changed before we could ever really try to integrate women into like the military as far as combat, because there's so much that we internalize through TV, news, the internet, so it makes it hard for women who are stepping out of that stereotype, you know, kind of position, for them to move into the military, because people have this stigma about what women should be doing, what kind of roles they should be playing. So it's going to be kind of hard for them because people have these set of beliefs and values what women should be, and those women really aren't consistent with being on the battlefield with other men. So I think that's like our biggest.
I think the biggest obstacle is going to be what it's always been for women in any profession, just getting past that glass ceiling.
Glass ceiling.
That's always there, and
It's sort of.
I mean, right now
Okay, we just had fine. That's okay.
Okay.
it can't be any worse than it is now in terms of.
I don't like the idea of them lowering the
So
standards.
I think I actually think it'll help women.
Yeah.
All right.
But women in every profession. I mean, when I was coming up through, you didn't see. I mean, women to be lawyers and doctors, and businessmen, and
So it's going to be a positive change.
I think it's going to be a positive change.
All right. Well,
We learned a lot and enjoyed the discussions with people about how they feel about this new role for women. We are encouraged that a majority supports this new unconventional role and also believes that women are physically up to the demands of a typically all-male combat situation. It was also interesting to hear from others who had a completely different view. In the case of a Nigerian woman surveyed, her culture is a patriarchal society. She earnestly believes that women will never be as efficient as men because of their physique. It does seem that female soldiers have an uphill battle with overcoming stereotypes and cultural stigma attached to their gender. However, it is encouraging to see that the hill is not so steep.